Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Saturday, June 28th. Draft is over, free agencies in a couple days, so we've got plenty of Celtics stuff to talk about. How you doing, Sam?
Doing pretty good. Excited to do the show today. We have survived what's been a very busy week, and we'll talk about the dust settling. We have rumors about Anfernee Simons still. The Celtics have started to put people on their summer league roster, which is always a fun time of year for us. Then we'll go through your emails. We'll go around the NBA. There is a trade to announce, and the first free agency rumors are starting to trickle out as well. And we'll do the rat list and then get out of here. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and hit the bell because we are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us on Spotify and Apple too, so if you just want the audio versions, follow us there.
Indeed. Let's start with that Anfernee Simons piece. Jay King of The Athletic recently put out an article noting that the Celtics still might end up trading Anfernee Simons, pushing him along, rerouting him elsewhere. Jay wrote, looking to continue shedding salary, the Celtics have explored the idea of flipping Simons' $27.7 million expired contract, according to league sources. In such a move, they would be aiming to accomplish two organizational directives Brad Stevens emphasized after the first round of the NBA draft on Wednesday, regaining more roster flexibility and setting up a path to retain free agents Luke Kornet and Al Horford. So it does still sound like the Celtics' primary goal, or at least one of them this summer, is to bring back Luke Kornet and Al Horford, which they have a little bit of flexibility to do right now. I think they sit around, $4 million under the second apron, if that's the goal. Maybe is it 7? I think it's around 4. I think 4.5 is the number I saw for where they are under the second apron. I can double check
like almost
as Sam talks, but
exactly in between like the first and second apron, I think.
So they don't have like a ton of money to bring back Kornet and Horford, but that sounds like what they want to do. So I think that's what they'll probably try to do.
I like having Al and Luke on the team. If there was any time that you need to bring back these two big men, it is now. Because, as I've talked about for the last couple days, Neemias Queta is consistently in the starting lineup graphics when people are posting the Celtics' current starting five. With that being said, I do think it's a little bit strange to not even play Anfernee Simons before trading him. But, I don't think it's completely strange, but, I guess what this is telling us is they didn't really trade for Anfernee Simons because Brad thinks there's, untapped potential or something. It just seems like he was a guy that may have value around the league that they could get back for Holiday and then figure out that part later. So,
yeah.
If the Celtics are in the business of keeping Luke and Al, it makes a lot of sense. I think it is the top need at the moment. Even if trading Simons results in bringing back somebody else, I know you and other people have floated out the Daniel Gafford piece of this, where maybe that's the guy you go and get in a potential trade. But even then, you only save an extra $7 million. I suppose that $7 million could be very helpful if you need to pay one of the other guys or both of them. But Gafford will be under contract for 20 a season for the next 2 years after this year. I think he just signed a new extension in Dallas. Not the worst contract, not the best contract.
A little less, yeah. It's 18, I think, because it's 54. So it's not bad. It's just for a backup center. If he's your starter, that's great. If he's your backup, it's less.
Yeah, it feels a little bit too expensive. I would be.
Then again, Naz Reid is getting 25, so who knows
Naz Reid got paid. Nowadays. That was always going to happen, though. They love Naz Reid up there, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to. So for some reason now, when I go to 25, 26 in Spot Track, I can't trade Anfernee Simons. It's it reverted to having Drew on the roster, so I'm gonna have to make it a 3-team trade. Well, which technically it still could be, right? Because the trade is not official yet. The Anfernee Simons trade isn't official yet, so we can take a look at some spots where it could make some sense. I think one of the more interesting destinations could be your Pistons. If you want to talk about getting a shooter next to Cade Cunningham, Anfernee Simons is that,
especially if what we're going to talk about later in the show happens and they lose Schroeder. They could certainly use a little extra help.
The question at that point then becomes, and I'll share my screen so you can watch me go through my thought process here. Like I have to redo the Drew Holiday trade in the midst of it just to make it work. But like the question then becomes, what are they giving out? Are they willing to take on that extra money? How can they put a competent defense around two guards who aren't the best defenders? Cade's making improvements, but both of them are neither of them is like a stopper, right? That's part of the reason why Schroeder was so useful for them. He was a stopper.
He was an irritant.
But if you have a Sar Thompson, then maybe you don't care as much, and maybe you can hide one of those guys. And like again, what do you give up? Like what are they giving up for that? Do they want to trade Isaiah Stewart? I don't really want to trade Isaiah Stewart from the Pistons. Do you do it for the sake of the upgrade? Maybe. If you trade for Anfernee Simons, though, like, are you giving up on Jaden Ivey? Is it like an addition? Like, oh, we're gonna sign Simons to be our supercharged 6-man? Like, what's that thought process there?
If
so
you
maybe
ask
this
me,
isn't the perfect destination. Yeah.
The Pistons, if they were to trade for Simons, would want him to be the 6-man, just like Schroeder. That would have to be their vision for that. But that's a lot of money to be paying
that's an expensive
a guy to come off your bench.
Yeah, that's an expensive 6-man. Like this would, I think if I renounce the Pistons free agents, this would theoretically work, right? Like, would you pay Isaiah Stewart in a first for Anfernee Simons, Sam?
If I was the Pistons, I don't think so. Because, one, I know the Pistons really like Isaiah Stewart.
What about 2 seconds?
It depends how they feel about getting Schroeder back. This would be the kind of trade that has to happen after free agency dust settles a little bit, I think. Because the Pistons need to be in panic mode where they're like, oh, damn, we lost Dennis Schroeder, and we need somebody to give us some boost off the bench. Like, that would be their motivation for this. And they would have to talk themselves into giving up Isaiah Stewart because Jalen Duren is somebody who they really just want to lean into fully. But even then, they don't have a backup big man. And not to mention, they just drafted Chaz Lanier, too. So their scoring punch could be somewhat solved with that off the bench. And they like Sasser, too. Sasser has had good moments for the Pistons since getting drafted a couple years back. I don't think this is going to move it for the Pistons. This is a tough sell for them, I think.
The question then becomes, like, who wants Anfernee Simons? Because I think the reason, and you touched on this, like, that they traded for him is because they wanted to keep a cycle of, like, if we're trading Drew Holiday, let's get as much value as we can, but also get another guy who has some value around the league. We'll keep, like, trading down, getting value, trading down, getting value, trading down, getting value. But where does that value go? Like, who has the means to trade for Anfernee Simons? And then at that point, who is going to give you the assets to get him, right? Like, I think the Nuggets could use an Anfernee Simons getting another 3-point shooter. They don't really have the means to get him, right? Like, are they going to trade Michael Porter Jr.? And if at that point, who's taking that contract?
Yes, they would. In a heartbeat.
Yikes.
For an expiring, they would.
But then who's taking that? No one's taking the
Not
Michael
the
Porter Jr.
Celtics.
contract, right? So that's dead, right? You almost need to get another fourth team involved to take on some money. And at that point, what's it going to be? Or at third team, if like the trade goes through and then you ship Anfernee Simons off elsewhere after that. But like, I'm trying to think, like, who wants Anfernee Simons? And this is not to say he's a bad player, but like genuinely, who's going to shell out the assets to get that type of guard right now? Because the Magic were the obvious option, and they're kind of off the table.
Yeah, it's funny because thinking about the NBA, I mean, how many times have we had the Peyton Pritchard conversation where it's like, if he wasn't on the Celtics, he would start on how many teams? And that was like before last season where he had this incredible 6-man of the year caliber season. We were trying to have that conversation. And we could never find any team that would be like, hell yes. Because there are so many talented guards in the NBA right now where somebody like Anfernee Simons isn't even that valuable. A lot of guys in the NBA can get you a bucket. That's just kind of what the shape of the league has become. And the guys who can play both sides of the ball are like at a peak value right now. That's why Drew Holiday was somebody that was so hard to part ways with for Boston in terms of like coming to terms with it. Not to say that they had a hard time thinking they had to do it because of the second apron, but that's tough because now you're left here and you're like, man, really tough to replace Drew Holiday. Maybe like is it like a Nets thing where the Nets are just looking to capitalize on getting a contract and making you pay them draft picks? But I don't think that would be the goal.
I have an idea. I don't know if it is going to be financially viable. I'm putting it into the trade finder right now. And it's something that I don't think people have thought of because we kind of have assumed that this team has been going in a certain direction for the whole summer, and I don't actually know if they will. I'm flipping enough assets to where it'll pop up in the trade results right now in Spot Track, but
Okay.
it is taking its sweet time. The Bucks.
I was
We're
about
all
to say it
assuming,
'cause of
yeah.
Dame.
We're all assuming Giannis is just leaving, but if he doesn't, they're gonna need offense, right? Like desperately. Anfernee Simons is offense, right? Like if you get the Nets involved as the third team, like they were for the Terrence Mann trade, the Celtics got involved in, right? You send Pat Connaughton into Brooklyn. The Bucks can get up to 22 mil very fast. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, 22 mil. Boom, right there. From there, you throw in like a couple of these minimums, etc., and try to get up there, like flip them into TPEs or to the Nets or to the Celtics to take it on. Like the Celtics can take on Portis or Connaughton, and the Nets can have the other one for a second or two. The Bucks shell out what, like a couple, like a second round pick or maybe a future first if they really are stupid for Anfernee Simons. Celtics shed either 14 mil or 18 mil in cap there. That's plenty to re-sign Cornette and Horford theoretically, right? Bucks get to roll out an ugly but at least offensively infused lineup of Giannis, Anfernee Simons, Kyle Kuzma, and then whatever they string together elsewhere. I don't hate it, right? Like I would trade Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton for Anfernee Simons. Like that, it just makes sense, especially if the price is cheap enough because the Celtics have another directive in mind too. So I actually don't hate the Bucks as a landing spot.
Yeah, the Bucks do make sense. I don't know what their cap sheet necessarily looks like. It won't be the easiest for them to absorb Anfernee Simons without gutting the rest of the roster. Like Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton are two guys with different roles. Bobby Portis is somebody that the Bucks have had playing important minutes for them for years. Pat Connaughton, not so much. They paid him when he was probably at his peak, and he hasn't really delivered since then. So he's become almost a negative asset at this point. I don't hate it, and it would definitely be a team that we haven't heard of. Like nobody would be talking about the Bucks before the trade happened. Like it would be impossible for the Celtics to do a trade that we had heard rumblings of. So I would put them on the list. I think it makes sense, especially with Dame being out. Somebody shared a clip or a mixtape of Anfernee Simons highlights, and the consensus was, holy shit, he does all these things that look exactly like Dame. And it's like, yeah, well, he learned from Dame for years and years and years.
That would make sense, yeah.
I guess if you're looking to fill the gap for Dame in Milwaukee, it would make sense to bring in Dame's understudy from Portland.
Yeah, Spot Track's not letting me load anything up anymore, so we'll have to find another way or another way to figure it out. But I think it could work in theory if you throw enough minimum contracts in certain spaces, and you can make it happen that way. Like I don't know who else though. The Cavs just made a trade for a guard later, and they don't really have the means to do anything. So we'll talk about that later. I should say they made it earlier today as we're recording this. I would like him for the Grizzlies, but they don't. Or excuse me. Well, I would like him for the Grizzlies, but I meant to say the Clippers. Like I wouldn't hate him for the Clippers, but I don't really think they have the means to make a trade happen, and they already have Norm Powell, so I think that's probably off the table. Weirdly enough, I kind of like him for the Kings. But they don't really have a way to get involved in the trade room without trading DeMar DeRozan. If I'm the Celtics, I don't want DeMar DeRozan, and I don't think that's saving very money.
No.
Unless they view Simons as a significant upgrade over Malik Monk, which I don't know if I do, but they can get off the money quicker.
DeRozan, first and foremost, is not getting any younger. But the argument that we have all talked ourselves into over the last 5 days is, maybe Anfernee Simons could supercharge the Celtics offense a little bit. DeRozan is nothing if he's not a bucket, but he's not a fast pace, speed the game up, run on the opposing team type of player like Simons is. He is a watch this guy. And
I don't think I could think of a player who would hurt the Celtics offense more than DeRozan.
Well, that's all he's supposed to bring to your team, though, is my point.
But the Celtics play like a high volume 3-point shooter, quickly pass, get a shot offense.
Correct.
And DeRozan does none of those things.
Well, he would just be your Tatum for the time being.
Absolutely. He's your Tatum, but he can't shoot threes.
Neither can Tatum.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would be horrendous.
No, in all
Spot Track's not
seriousness,
working anymore.
Significant downgrade. And also Jalen can do like all the bucket getting stuff that DeRozan can do, to be honest.
Yeah, DeRozan's a non-starter in my opinion. I don't think DeRozan, you want him. Plus the contract is disgusting. Like it's just not worth it.
All right, I got to address this actually. Thank you for bringing up the Kings. I'm seeing people online being like, Sabonis, what do we think? Sabonis' contract is also fucking awful. He's making like $44 million a season to be mediocre. He puts up really great numbers. He's been a part of one playoff team since joining the Kings. It's not been pretty. He's not the answer to whatever you think is wrong with the Celtics. Domantas Sabonis is not that guy. Would you agree or you disagree? I feel like you.
I think he'd be good.
You think
not
he
on
would
that
be
contract.
good?
Not on that contract. Obviously not. It's a bad contract, and it's an objectively
more
not a
of
good
where-
contract. But like on court play style, I think he'd be good. I think he'd just be a better Luke Cornett. Like I think he could play the same role, but a better passer, a better individual scorer, a better rebounder. Like he's just going to be like an insane Luke Cornett. Defense would be the biggest concern. He's not the defense. Like
Right.
I don't think he'd bring that same stuff. But I mean, I think offensively he would like. And if you want to talk about pushing the pace on offense, talk about a guy who can grab a rebound and run. Like he's just going to bring the ball up the floor. So I actually think he'd be an okay fit. Amari Williams. I actually think he'd be an okay offensive fit, but defensively it could hurt. And that contract is. I mean, let me look at the contract. Like he's getting paid this year, upcoming season, 43, then 46.7, then 50. Like it's just not good. Like it's not conducive.
You just got out of the second apron, brother. You just got away from it.
It's not conducive to winning. If that's a contract on your books, unfortunately,
Brad
because I like
Stevens-
Sabonis. You know, I like Sabonis.
Brad Stevens went up on the podium on Wednesday and talked to all you guys about flexibility for 20 minutes. Like, Sabonis really doesn't enable you to be very flexible. And those of you saying, like, his skill set, I don't disagree with Jack that, like, there are things he could do that would help the Celtics be a good team, but him being on the team would not enable the Celtics to build a good team. And that would be the problem.
Mm-hmm, indeed. Before we keep talking about potential Simons trades, I need to tell you guys about PrizePicks really quick. It's the best place to get real money sports action. This baseball season, this basketball season, whatever season, you are looking to get some action on. Sam and I do the PrizePicks for every single Celtics pregame show. Obviously, there's no basketball on right now. However, while I'm watching the Red Sox, I make sure to throw something down. Usually on the Roman Anthony the more on hits and the more on home runs. Marcelo Meyer and Sedan Rafaela, though, they've been hot. They've been hot. Not hot is Jarren Duran and everybody else hitting on the Red Sox right now because they are terrible. But despite that, PrizePicks is still the best place to get real money sports action. It's really easy to use. The app is create a lineup. All you have to do is pick more or less than a few player stats for your shot up to win up to 2,000 extra money. You can sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. It also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, which means every Tuesday. PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide you even more value for your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Back to the Anfernee Simons stuff. I want to find... I'm going to go on Fanspo just because Spot Tracks stopped working for me.
You got the itch.
I want to see if the Bucks trade has legs, and then I want to check out a couple other destinations. But it's just tough to find a spot that has the flexibility and the assets to make the money work.
And the reason.
Yeah, you need a blend of all three. So if I send Simons to the Bucks here, I'll take you with me. Here you go, guys. Simons to the Bucks. It would be like, can I renounce their free agencies? I think it's already renounced in this because it says they have a lot of tax space, so I assume that's fine. So it'd be Bobby Portis here, Pat Connaughton here, and then I think theoretically that would be it. And I think maybe the Bucks would have to give up a little bit more. Maybe Andre Jackson goes to the Nets. They could take a look at him, and then like Chris Livingston, whatever, goes to the Celtics, so they can take like. Would this work? Yeah, so something like this could work theoretically. Like the Nets take on two Bucks players, the Bucks trade Portis and Livingston to Boston. This gives them extra body at center. They get Anfernee Simons. Like I think something like this could work for all teams involved if the Celtics get the necessary draft capital, but also this would be the directive of save as much money as possible. Then again, you could probably flip Bobby Portis expiring at the deadline anyways.
That's true. I think are going to be teams that are willing to take on the Portis contract. Like, it's not an albatross like some of these other contracts out there. And Milwaukee, again, has a concrete need for somebody to fill Dame's spot. And they don't have a ton of options. Did they even draft anybody? Did they draft?
The Bucks?
Yeah. I feel like they didn't have a...
They took Bojan Markovic in the second round. I don't know who they took in the first round, though.
Well, that'll save them.
I like Markovic. I know you don't, but I like Markovic.
I did not like him. I just think he's like weirdly caught between being a 4 and a 5 and doesn't move quick enough to be a 4 and isn't strong enough to be a 5. But maybe down the line, if he puts on muscle, he can do a little bit more.
I mean, they have plenty of experience with that.
Yes, Giannis is a great case. Also, not to like get everybody all riled up, watching Amari Williams. A little bit of Giannis in there. All right.
What the fuck?
Putting the ball on the floor and dunking through traffic.
I mean,
running the floor
I think,
coast to coast like Giannis.
I think a lot of players can do that.
Not a lot of them.
Just a Giannis thing. I don't know where else Giannis. You're being ignorant. I don't know where else Anfernee Simons could go. Right, like the Spurs don't need another guard. The Pelicans have too many bad defensive guards now.
Is there room at all in Orlando or no? Bane has taken up all the cap space, and they've also given up all the assets that they would be able to gut to make it happen.
No, they technically could. However, they would have to send out the Jonathan Isaac contract, which is pretty gross, in my opinion. Like, he's a fine player, but like, I would need to see
same thing as Sabonis.
Well, he makes 15 mil. It's not the number, but he makes 15, 14, 5, 14, 5, 15. He's got 4 more years on his contract. So the length is maybe the concern. It's just a question of would they give it up, right? Like, I mean, I can play with it here. We can take a look. I'll throw in like just I'll put in the Hawks because they have TPEs, right?
Celtics also have a TPE.
Yeah, they do. I'm not going to use it. If it was Anfernee Simons, who's now at the bottom, because that's how Fansville works. Like, if he were to go to Orlando, which again, I don't think they would, because I think they want to run Jalen Suggs at the one. That's a lot of money to pay for a 6-man. But like John Isaac, maybe the Hawks would take that chance because he's another defensive body to put around Trae Young. Like, maybe you could pay them an extra first or an extra second to take on that contract, but they just got off the Terrence Mann one, so I don't think they would. But then they'd also have to trade, like, it would have to be like and Goga and like a younger, like and a Caleb Houston, which I don't know if they're getting into that territory of we are willing to do that. Let me see if this money works. So technically this would work, right? Technically the Magic could trade Isaac, Goga Bitadze, and Caleb Houston for Anfernee Simons. I don't know if they'd be willing to do it. Obviously the Hawks would have to be paid to take on that money. Obviously the Celtics would want some value back for Simons, but like theoretically the Magic could still trade for Anfernee Simons if they wanted, but I don't think they would do it.
As of right now, the Magic have $4.3 million until they hit first apron, 16.2 until they hit second apron. So if they're willing to push their chips to the middle of the table and be like, it's go time, then yes, they could talk themselves into Anfernee Simons. But as Jack laid out, it's not the easiest for them to get there in terms of money matching. And also, if you make a trade to move into either of the aprons, you all of a sudden have to play by the apron rules while you make the trade.
Yeah, it just gets really hard for the Magic to do stuff. But okay, let's move on. Celtics Summer League, they started adding guys to their Summer League roster. They started doing it immediately after the NBA draft. So far, they've added 3 guys to their Summer League roster who aren't like already on the roster or guys that they picked in the draft themselves. They added Ben Gregg of Gonzaga, Aaron Scott from St. John's, and Zach Hicks, who played at Penn State. I have info on all of them, but they're building up the roster slowly here. Mike Zarin said that a lot of the front office guys stayed after the draft to start finalizing this stuff. But unfortunately, at least in my opinion, none of these guys are super duper interesting.
Oh, you know what sucks? not Googled. I searched on Twitter my favorite of like the draft workout guys that was not supposed to be ranked or drafted. Clifford Omarui out of Alabama has signed a summer league deal with the Raptors.
They've all signed. Anybody you could have possibly wanted is gone already.
Devastating news. I like him. But I do know the Celtics worked out Greg and they worked out Scott. I don't remember seeing them work out Hicks, so that's kind of an interesting pickup for them. But the billing on him, I think you said it, is the guy is a sharpshooting forward, kind of like
Who
a
is?
Miles Norris type. Hicks from Penn State.
Let me look. I know. Okay, yeah, this is who I'm thinking of. He shot 41% on 5.8 attempts this past year. Before that, and he shot. Let me find it. My tabs are moving slowly now. And he shot, I think, well from the field. He shot 47% from the field. In his 3 years of college ball before that, he shot 35% from the field and from three. So, like, this is his first and only sample size season of being an effective scorer at the collegiate level. Something to consider. That said, 6'7" forward, he's fine.
I wonder. I mean, we talk about just the low probability of like second round picks becoming anything. I wonder what the history of like guys who have gotten on summer league contracts and impressed turning into NBA players has been.
Low.
I guess it's just undrafted free agents.
Yeah, it's just EDFS.
So like Lou Dort, Sam Hauser, but like those are again
Brunson.
cherry picked.
Or no, Brunson was second pick, second rounder. Who was I thinking of? They just listed a bunch of undrafted guys. Austin Reeves is who I was thinking of. I don't know. Why
Reeves didn't get drafted?
No.
I could have sworn he got drafted. Whatever. I just remember you being like, I love this guy. He's so good going into the draft.
He was good. He was good. Yeah, man. I mean, they're all fine. They're all big wings, and then Greg's like a forward / center. He's like 6'10". They can all kind of shoot. Greg shot. Greg's a career 34% shooter from 30. Shot 27% this past year, but before that, 38. So like, big man who can shoot a little bit. I mean, this is their second year in a row of having a Gonzaga big on the roster. I'm not even talking about Anton Watson. They had Killian Tilly too. And then Aaron Scott is kind of the opposite of Zach Hicks. He was a 26% shooter his freshman year at North Texas, but then a 41% and then 37%. But then he got to St. John's, took 5 a game, and shot 29%. So he stopped being able to shoot it quite as well once he got to St. John's. His efficiency tanked. So this is just kind of what you do with Summer League. You just like throw guys on the roster, see if anything happens. I found a Reddit thread, players that were discovered during Summer League. TJ McConnell apparently was really good in Summer League, and no one had him.
That makes
Kent
sense.
Bazemore won 2 Summer League championships after going undrafted, so shout out to him. Caruso played really well in Summer League. There are examples. It is like 1%, so don't get your hopes up, but be interested, I guess.
It'll be fun
Just
to
for
get hyped about guys. Why not? It's why we play.
Sure. Let's go to your emails. Reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hptcpod@gmail.com. That's hptcpod@gmail.com. I believe we should probably have at least a few since the last time we chatted. A lot has gone on since the last time we did a full podcast. I think the last full pod we did was pre-draft. And obviously the Celtics have added 3 players to their roster. Or 2 players to the organization, I should say, because the other guys are supposed to be on 2 ways since then. So I assume people have had lots to say. I'll pull it up. We do have 3 emails. 1 from RJ, 2 from a guy with a really cool name. So I'll pull it up here. Shout out RJ. RJ says, if StreamYard let me share, Celtics 2026 season Back to the Future morning, folks. Now that the dust has settled from another 2 days of everyone's favorite show, what in the world is Brad Stevens up to? It's time to do what all Celtics fans do best, speculate wildly about the season ahead, except I did mine over at Celtics Blogs. Please check it out. Who thinks, be well, RJ, who thinks Brad would look snappy in a red fedora and a trench coat? Everyone can go check out RJ's article, talking about what they've done, Summer League, etc. I mean, you can see it on the screen. It is called Celtics 25-26 Back to the Future. on the Celtics blog forum. Go check it out. Next emails from Jax. Hey guys, I don't know why so many people are down the Celtics next year. I feel like Derek White as a second option will be so much fun, and I really think he'll be an all-star if Tyler Hero can do it. White can. Jaylen Brown is usually a way more willing passer and doesn't force many shots when Tatum is out, probably because he'll get his shots regardless. Simons doesn't get traded, or if he doesn't get traded, he seems like a fun player to watch. Maybe he'll feel more encouraged to play defense. If Simons does get traded, like Brad said, he wants us to at least be competitive, probably meaning playoffs. So I don't think the return will be bad. The center is the only issue. Hopefully, at least Cornette resigns. I also can't wait to watch a fast Celtics team. And the best part is Tatum is coming back next year. No. I wouldn't hold your breath on Tatum coming back next year.
Jason Tatum did tweet last night, and he was like, day 45, this shit sucks. So there's your Tatum update. He needs to not rush back.
No, I don't think he will. I mean, the Celtics are not going to be dumb about it.
I think the Celtics could be fun next year, though. Like, I think Simons is a fun player. We'll just have to see what happens with him.
And they're going to be a top 6 seed in the East. I'm still saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Last email from Jax again. Hey, guys, how the fuck are the Lakers going to be able to contend with LeBron 35% of the cap, Luka 35% of the cap, and Reeves 25% of the cap? Also, now the Lakers are hard capped to second April next season. Am I missing something? I think they're going to try to be as good as they can next year and still focus on building around Luka once LeBron retires. I think that's always going to be the plan with the Lakers. I think if you have Luka and LeBron, you're always going to have some chance to make a run. But they're going to have to figure some stuff out in the meantime.
So Luka's only taking up 30% of the cap, and Reeves is only taking 9% of the cap. I don't know where you're seeing
this. I assume this is the extension.
This is 25-26 on Spot Track.
Oh, well, I assume he is talking about the Reeves theoretical extension post next year because he just declined. He rumoredly declined the max extension next year because he's going to sign a max extension for more money next summer. So I assume this is talking about when he signs that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I assume this is when he signs that. But by then LeBron might just be gone anyway. So
okay.
Yeah,
he's correct because LeBron will be a UFA next season. Luka's player option is next season, and then Reeves will also have a player option. So there could be some restructuring to be done. That Lakers roster will only have Jared Vanderbilt at $12 million, Shake Milton at $3 million, and Bronny at $2.2 million. Under
next to those guys,
when
yeah,
that all happens.
So, I mean, they'll figure it out. I'm not saying it's going to be incredible, but if you have two, those are probably 2 top 15 guys in the league still, and then Reeves is a top 40 guy. Like, you'll be okay. They'll find a way. I'm not saying they're going to win titles, especially in the packed West, but they'll be competitive at the very least. NBA section. The Bulls have traded Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro, and that's it. And that's the news. Sure, Chicago. I mean, it's insane how bad they are. It's insane how incompetent the Bulls are as an organization.
I wish they did this last week, so we could have been I mean, who's to say they won't take Porzingis' contract? Who knows what they're doing over there? I mean, we kind of got to say it anyways, but this would have been refresher confirmation that they have no idea what they're doing, what their goals are. You put it on the sheet here. There were reports that they could have gotten a first-round pick if they traded Lonzo for Marcus Smart at the deadline. Who would you rather have, Marcus or Okoro?
If I'm the Bulls, Okoro, but the first-round pick would have been insane. You need that. You can get a first-round pick for Lonzo, you do it. But I mean, listen, Okoro is not great, but at least he's young, right? At least he's shown he can shoot the ball sometimes. He's a really good defender. So I mean, this is just a lower scale Giddey for Caruso trade, in my opinion. Which, I mean, I'm not going to say the Giddey trade worked out for the Bulls, but Giddey's fine now. He's actually played really well for them. But you got 0 first-round picks for Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball. That's a failure.
I mean,
it is.
Caruso, yes, absolutely. Guy. It was no secret that he was going to help somebody be a winning team.
Lonzo, if you're about to say you don't know about Lonzo, they had one. They literally could have had one.
They could have got. Well, yeah,
there is no. He's not worth
gotten
it
for taking Marcus. Okay. Yeah. I kind of forgot that they were offered it as like a take Marcus on deal, not like we want Lonzo
And
Ball
listen,
deal.
I'm not saying Lonzo is like going to come back and be Lonzo, but at the very least, you have a guy who can play solid defense, right? Like even if the shot doesn't come around, like he is basically at minimum Isaac Okoro and could be better if you're the Cavs, right? Like he's going to play that solid defense. He's going to be on a relatively cheap contract for a few years because I'm pretty sure he just signed an extension for 3 years, like 30 mil. So like 10 mil a season for a guard who can just play solid defense and handle the ball is good. Right now, in his current state, Lonzo Ball is better than Isaac Okoro because at least he can handle the ball too. If that 3-point shot comes around, he's fine. And it's not like he was like incompetent this past year. He wasn't efficient from the field, but 34% from three. Like, if you're the Cavs, that's
If you just
about
wanted to spot
Okoro.
up. Yeah.
Like, that's about Okoro. He averages 8, 3, and 3. Like, that's immediately better than what you were getting if you're the Cavs. So, I love it for Cleveland taking that shot on that for a guy who didn't really fit what they were trying to do anyways.
Especially not knowing what's going to happen with Ty Jerome.
Exactly. I don't know what the Bulls are doing though. I can't anymore.
Are the Bulls our favorite team just to monitor? Like it's really fun to watch from afar as they struggle.
So they now have Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Isaac Okoro, Patrick Williams. That's nasty. That's nasty.
For those listening, if you're not feeling good about the Celtics season, just pull up the Bulls spot track. It'll probably make you feel good. Because just hearing that list of names, maybe go, like, yeah, the Celtics won't be that bad, right? Like,
this
they
is
can't
what I've
be
been
as
saying.
bad as Chicago.
This is what I've been saying, man. That's just nasty work by the Bulls. Just horrendous. They did they even get a first in the Levine trade? They got their first back, right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, and they picked Derek Queen. No, they picked
Noah Senge.
Oh boy.
Noah Senge could be good, but they just picked another guy with like shooting question marks.
Noah Senge was like the guy that like was in the lottery that nobody liked though.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't know anything about Noah Senge. Who knows? Maybe it turns into like Bilal Coulibaly. We didn't really know about him either, but it could also turn into Tijan Salon, who wasn't very good.
I feel like Bilal was going up draft boards as the draft approached because people were paying attention to him because he was on Wemby's team.
So Noah Senge skyrocketed up draft boards, bro. He was supposed to be like a second round pick.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a second round pick
mistake.
a couple months ago. Yeah, no, he like had the biggest rise of anybody in the draft.
Even Colin Coward.
Cedric Coward. I mean, he went above him, so I guess he did. Yeah, pretty much.
Colin Coward, top pick in the draft.
They said that on the broadcast. Somebody called him Colin Coward on the broadcast.
Nothing wrong with that. It happens to the best of us.
Poor guy.
Speaking of Cedric Coward,
mm-hmm.
I know you didn't hear this, but so Chris Vernon works for the Ringer, Grizzlies guy. He was telling a story with Simons before the draft where he was in a Target like looking at basketball cards because like he'll just like do that sometimes when he's in the store. Some guy like recognized him, come up to him, talk to him a little bit about the draft, which he didn't know much about the draft at that point. Like it's kind of how it goes for all of us that are really engulfed in the NBA. We have to do a lot of learning in the spring when it's almost the draft. And the guy's like going off about Cedric Coward. Like, this guy's awesome. Like, so that was Verno's one takeaway. It was like Cedric Coward. And of course, the Grizzlies trade up and take him. The guy in Target, he made it happen.
Shout out Target. Shout out that guy. I mean, Coward's going to be really good for the Grizzlies. Like, that's a phenomenal fit. Especially if you can play some two guard. So what? Shout out Hanson Young. I mean, they seem to like him a lot, man. Fuck it. Who knows? Maybe Hanson Yang will prove us all wrong.
I thought he was okay. When I looked at him for Houdini, like, I didn't think he was at the same level as, like, the other centers that were supposed to be in Boston's range. Yeah. But, like, in the hypothetical that the Celtics got to 32 and they hadn't picked a center yet, and Kalkbrenner and Reynaud and Behringer and, like, literally Sorber, Wolf, like, all those guys were gone. Like, it would be the kind of player that everyone would watch the highlights and be like, but maybe don't take him at 60.
Yeah, so if all the guys who went directly after him weren't on the board and you were picking him in the second round, then maybe you'd be okay with it. like Come on, that's how ridiculous.
In the draft prep process, it's just easy to be like, I see it. Like, I see why he's supposed to be an NBA player.
We'll see. I'm rooting for him.
Have you watched
the first
any tape?
batch? No. I've watched I've watched him at the draft combine a little bit, but that's it. The first batch of free agency rumors have spawned. We're starting to get there. From Mark Stein, Kings have the best chance to sign Schroeder. Mavs are the faves to sign D'Lo, and then Shams during the draft said that the Heat are probably going to target Kuminga in restricted free agency. So the first little tidbits of free agency are pouring out right now.
I love you know, like when NBA Central or Legion Hoops will tweet out the Bovada odds for the favorites to land, like D'Angelo Russell. Ooh, what a sweepstakes you've won there, sir.
I think D'Lo would be really good for the Mavs, actually. Like,
if you bring him off the bench, like, and all that stuff, like there are like roles for him to thrive in.
Even as a starter, I don't hate it. They don't really have a point guard right now. They don't have a ball handler. Kyrie's hurt for the whole season.
Yeah, Kyrie's hurt.
Yeah. When Kyrie's back, obviously bring him off the bench. But I'm saying, like, as a stopgap before Kyrie returns, like, listen, if there's a place he can go to have plenty of defense around him, it's that fucking team.
They are built on defense. Nico loves defense. And also, like, the same thing could be said for Kuminga. Like, I always see the ones, like, odds to land Jonathan Kuminga. Who's gonna win the sweepstakes this summer?
Kuminga stinks, bro.
Do we really think that Kerr can't recognize talent? I feel like Kerr has enough.
Steve Kerr?
Yeah, like, does he have, like, enough of a resume that you can trust that he can see a guy work in practice all the time and not think he's good enough to play in a rotation?
I mean, he also just doesn't fit. Like, I think Kuminga's objectively a talented player, but he just doesn't, like, fit with what the Warriors do. Do I think he fits with what the Heat want to do? Maybe, but I don't know.
Who knows what the Heat are trying to do?
He's just I don't even know what Jonathan Kuminga is, man. It feels like he needs to be put in a situation where he can become Julius Randle, and then he's just going to become Julius Randle, and that's not good for anybody. I don't know, like 23.
There's still time.
Kuminga is 22, turning 23 October 6th. Yeah. So
he's basically someone that just got drafted.
He's young, but I don't know, man. It's ugly. It's ugly. Last NBA thing. Masai Ujiri got fired by the Raptors after a long time. Crazy news.
Don't get it, to be honest. Like, what do we think happened in the last week that they would have let him draft and then be like, that's it? Like, honestly, is this a hot seat situation for me? Because I was like, man, I really like Colin Murray-Boyles. And then Masai Ujiri drafts him, and they're like, you know what? That's it. Like, you're fired.
I mean, they haven't made the playoffs in X amount of years. They haven't. It's weird timing for sure. Like, why not just do it at the very end of the season? Why not do it, like, some other time? But they haven't made the playoffs in years. Like, they just got a very weird style. It feels like Masai Ujiri has bet his bank on zigging when the rest of the NBA is zagging, and up to this point, it hasn't really paid off since the title. Outside of that 1 year where he miraculously traded for Kawhi, and then Kawhi immediately left, and then since then it's been kind of just like a shit show. I get it, but it's definitely weird. And I mean, it feels like Masai Ujiri just was the Raptors, so it's definitely an odd situation.
Yeah, they've missed 4 of the last 5 playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I thought they made it in 2023. I got it confused with 2022. Time flies when you're having fun.
They haven't made it since the Siakam Fred VanVleet team, and that team got beat by the Sixers in the first round, I think it was. So, I mean,
they also dealt with like a ton of injuries last year. It's not his fault. They might have made the playoffs last year. You liked the Raptors last year.
I liked the Raptors last year, indeed, but like their roster just goes against everything that an NBA team should be, and they continued that in the draft.
Don't you think they're going to be competitive this year, though?
I think they're going to be fine, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, look across the X amount of championships. You have shooting. I can name like 2 shooters on the entire Raptors roster. 2 3-point shooters. That's it. Think about it. Think about it. Seriously, who shoots the ball consistently well on that team? Grady Dick and kind of RJ Barrett, kind of quickly sometimes, and then you have Jonathan Mobo, Colin Murray, Boyles, Jakob Pertl, Scotty Barnes. Like, what are we doing? Like I like Colin Murray, Boyles. Yes, it was the most Raptors pick I've ever seen in my life. Let's get a really long, lanky defender guy who cannot shoot the ball.
They like this the center from Duke.
Come on, Malawaj. Another guy can't shoot the ball. Like I think they're all talented players. I love all of the Raptors' talent individually, but as a collective, like that level of not shooters, and then they went to get their quote unquote star in Brandon Ingram, who hasn't always been the best 3-point shooter. Like if the Raptors feel
they
like okay,
him.
Yep. Listen, man, maybe it works, but I understand why the patience may have been running thin based on the way they have selected their rosters over the years.
Yeah, kind of surprising that they would.
It's surprising for sure. He's been like synonymous with the Raptors organization for so long. No, now you're thinking about it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like that's the thing. Like you think about the players they have. You're like, well, like that roster isn't bad, and they still might not be bad, but they're not going to be like elite. They probably won't be able to consistently win games. It'll be more of a shot variance type thing. Like they'll have to deal with what Celtics fans felt in the playoffs, but every day. Is it going to be a good shooting day? Is it not going to be a good shooting day? Okay, that's the end of it.
Except they don't have good shooters to bank on. So this past season, the Raptors' top shooters, Kelly Olynyk, 44%, gone. Jamison Battle at 40.5%. I like him. Actually, like a fine player, sure. Agbaji, 40%, sure. Then quickly at 37, Chris Boucher at 36, Davion Mitchell at 35, all gone. Of players who played at least 20 minutes per game for them and are still on the roster, Scotty Barnes, 27%, Barrett 35, Pirtle 33 on 0.1 attempt a game, Grady Dick 35, quickly 38, Agbaji 40. There you go. Colin Castleton shot 25% from three. Jared Rhoden shot 32%. Jacoby Walter 35%. Jonathan Mobo 24. Orlando Robinson 34. Jamal Shed 32. Cole Swider played for them 35.
Shout out.
James, like that's nasty. That's nasty work. They didn't have a single guy take at least 7 threes a game. And I know that's like, oh my God, that's a lot. Almost every single team in the league has a guy who takes 7 threes a game. Like that is just like a normal thing now.
Part of the offense now.
Of guys who played at least 50 games for them, only 2 guys took more than 5 per game. Like, listen, man.
You know what is funny though? You mentioned like the 3-point volume. You shouldn't build a team to play this way. But in the finals, the two teams were not firing up a lot of threes. Specifically, OKC was not.
No, but you had guys who can shoot on the roster.
You had guys who can shoot, but the reason why OKC wasn't shooting a bunch of threes is because in the games where they didn't take a lot of threes, they were turning the Pacers over a billion times and just getting out in transition, getting easy baskets that way.
But even then, like
that's the answer. Create tons of turnovers, Toronto.
Isaiah Joe, Andrew Wiggins, right? Alex Caruso had a great shooting performance in the playoffs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can shoot. Like, at least he can score the ball. Like the Pacers, Halliburton's a 40% three-point shooter usually, right? Aaron Nesmith is a good three-point shooter. Obi Toppin has made clearly huge strides.
Unbelievable
as a three-point shooter.
As a three-point shooter.
Andrew Nembhard can shoot. This Pacers team got lucky and hit on fucking Jamison Battle as one of their highest volume three-point shooters this past year. And that's it. Like it's weird. Toronto's just an enigma. The rat list. Go ahead.
I'm gonna rat list my mom. So my mom and dad are in Barcelona. My mom's a flight attendant, so she goes on trips very regularly. But my dad tagged along this time. Neither one of them have been there. I was woken up at 5 a.m. today, but my phone sounding like a machine gun. And, of course, I thought something was wrong because I was getting a billion text messages. No, she was just showing me pictures of the morning in Barcelona at 5 Eastern. Like, the reason why I preface this with my mom is a flight attendant, she travels regularly. If you don't regularly travel, sure, I can believe. Maybe you forgot that there's a time difference. Not my mom. She just was.
How many times did she call you?
What'd you say?
How many times did she call you?
5 times in a row. It was just going berserk on the nightstand. I was like, did
I
something
was
happen to somebody?
like, listen, I was gonna say like, okay, one time she's just trying to be
No,
nice. Like,
yeah.
it's fine, like,
Sure. It was like bzz, 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 bzz. I was like, what is going on? I was furious.
well, cool sunrise or sunset, cool.
I honestly didn't even look out of spite. Like I just was like, hey, I went back to sleep and I woke up and I was like, hey, thought something terrible happened because my phone sounded like a machine gun at 5.
Well,
That's all I said.
did she take a picture of it? Like, could she have just like texted you?
Text me
Could
what?
the picture of the sunset? Like, couldn't she have just like and then texted you the picture?
She did text me.
Oh, I thought you were saying she was calling you.
No, she texted me several times.
Oh, then this is your own fault. Yeah, no, I'm on her side now. Why is your phone making sounds when you get a text?
It
You're
doesn't make
crazy.
sounds, it vibrates.
Yeah, no, still. I think we've had this talk before. You just got to put your phone on silent, bro. You just got to not have vibrate on. Like this, I can't. I don't know if I know anybody else who has like actual like alerts on for everything they get. Like even
Really?
mine's like I've gotten so many notifications throughout the course of everything.
Oh, I think Kaylin's is on. Like she gets a vibrate if something happens.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. I know almost nobody,
especially
has,
like doing what we do.
On.
Like if a tweet notification comes in or something.
Nah, mine's.
I know you silence them.
Yeah.
Like when you go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I feel like having vibrate or any like I don't have any notifications on. I just have it on silent. I mean, I just check it. Like I just keep checking my phone, but I don't have the alerts on. I don't want to be woken up. I don't want to be whatever. Yeah, no, I feel like we've had this conversation before about how you have like alerts on.
I gotta know what's going on. That's all.
So, anti-rat list. So I got a text last night. Michaela texted me. She goes, "Look at this deal." It was a DoorDash deal. And I haven't been like ordering food a lot lately. I've been like, I'm reformed. I've tried not to. 2 biggie bags from Wendy's for $10 on DoorDash.
I thought it was a $4 biggie bag. Oh, on like the total delivery and everything is $10.
Yep. $10 to get 2 biggie bags, which $10 for 8 nuggets, 2 burgers, 2 sets of fries, and 2 drinks, which I didn't know you can at the time, but you could swap one out for a Frosty for an extra like 60 cents, which is even better. It was because like they had a buy one get one free biggie bag deal, plus with Dash Pack. Like it was just like insane value. So obviously I got it. It was incredible. It was not even a rat list. Just shout out the deal.
No choice.
Shout out the deal of the century, and that shit.
Honestly,
rocked.
if you want good deals, have I ever told you about the app? It's called Too Good to Go, and like at the end of days, for those listening, restaurants or like bakeries will put up like you can claim the mystery bag of like whatever items they're giving away at the end. Some places will give you an incredible deal. I think I paid like $5 for a pizza and wings before. Like that's what they gave me when I showed up.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Also anti-rat list got. So I was like one of those weird moods or states yesterday where I was kind of just like bored. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to do this. I don't really like want to do this. I don't really have to do this. And so I just like went for a walk and I got myself like a coffee. I got myself some lunch. I got some. So I got like went to CVS. I like did it stop. It was like a nice little walk. Shout out Zaftig's Delicatessen in I think Brookline technically. Got my chicken salad sandwich, elite fries. It was like I don't know how to describe them. It was like I would have to look up how to describe them, but elite French fries, and I got like chili there, and I picked up saltines on the way home. Shout out the chili. It was phenomenal food. I was very happy, and it was like just nice out yesterday, where I wasn't like sweating a lot when I walked, but it was like warm. It was a nice walk. I had a nice time yesterday.
Finally, a reasonably tempered day, like. Not
exactly
500 degrees when you step outside. The at peace walks are fantastic. You just like kind of put like music or a podcast on and enjoy being outside. It'll make your day. I loved it during the playoffs. My favorite time to do that because there's so much content to consume in terms of pods and everything. The weather's just starting to get nice. Going out for a nice walk, it's like my favorite part of my day during that time. Rat list, one of my friends here. So I'm not going to name names. One of my friends just started like a relationship, and he's been seeing this girl for like a month, 2 months tops. And yesterday I'm talking to him and he goes, things are a little cold between us now. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I think I upset her. He goes, I'll read you what he said. He was telling me
Do I know this person?
Yeah, you know them.
Oh,
He was telling me that he had told the girl something that he didn't particularly like about her. And I don't even know if I need to specifically tell you what it is, because I don't really think it matters. When you're in that range of seeing somebody, there usually isn't anything to complain about. Usually they are just the greatest person ever. Like the first couple months, the honeymoon stage, you're like, I'm going to marry this person. This is going to be the greatest like relationship ever. I love seeing them. I can't wait to talk to them again. It is so bizarre to be like, you know what? I actually don't like this about you. And then he was like asking me what to do about it. And I was like, I just don't understand why you said that. Like, what was the benefit? What did you think was going, like, what in your head was going to be the outcome of this that it was worth saying?
That's insane. That's what for like. You think the thought input, the thought from a dude that she has known for 2 months was going to change her whole persona? Like, what? Come on, man. What are we doing?
I just was like telling Kaylin about it yesterday. I was like, can you believe so-and-so said this, like did this? And she was just asking me all these questions. Like, why? Like, why did he say that? How did he say it? He said it over text? Oh,
he
that's
texted
not
it?
good. Yeah, he like said it over text. He like sent me the quoted like message. Just absolutely like brain dead move. I'm sure everything will be okay. It's just I don't understand how you are at that stage of a relationship and you're like, all right, it's time. Like, I'm unloading now. I don't like this about you.
Yikes.
My final rat list. My final rat list is the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns took Rasheer Fleming in the draft, and they ruined what could have been a great running bit within my friend group, where my friend Ray Fleming could have had his name on the draft board next to Lucky the Leprechaun and got himself a Fleming Celtics jersey. The dream is dead. And also the player is probably decent. But listen, all the Celtics draft picks seem like they are going to be fun to watch at the very least. And, you know, maybe they'll pan out. Maybe they won't. I like what we're looking at the moment.
Agree. I agree. I don't got anything else. Do you got anything else? We can wrap there?
Nope. I'm good.
Alrighty. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you're feeling after the draft. We're here every single day with new content, so hit the bell and subscribe. We have full pods dropping Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. All pods and game recaps are on Spotify and Apple as well. So if you just want those, follow us there. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're going through them every single podcast. Big shout out to RJ and Jack who sent us emails, I guess, since the last pod. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JacksMoneNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Check,